Hello everyone, my name is Diane and this is My Pink Bathtub. Welcome. Welcome if you're new and welcome if you are a returning subscriber. It's great to see you. I live in the center of Canada in the province of Manitoba, and one of the fun things I've been doing this year is buying hand-dyed yarn from across our country from hand dyers that I have never purchased from before. In January, I started in British Columbia and I've been working my way across our country, and I am currently in the province of Nova Scotia. I do have a playlist below for some of the previous episodes that I've done, but starting in January, I was just showing yarn on kind of a weekly basis whenever I was dropping my episodes. And then when I hit my own province of Manitoba, I grouped all the yarn together for a single episode, and that's what we're going to do today. You can find me on all forms of social media. Well, not all forms. I don't TikTok and I don't X, so Instagram and Facebook, as well as you can email me at mypinkbathtub@gmail.com. I have a few Ravelry patterns in Ravelry, and again, my username for that is MyPinkBathtub. And if you're curious about the name My Pink Bathtub, I used to own one. I didn't like it much, but hey, we just got to take what life brings us, right? So I'm trying to embrace it. I am a maker. I do sell my products at markets in the fall, and I specialize in hand knit animal mittens for kids and adults. There is no way that I could possibly buy hand-dyed yarn from everyone in Nova Scotia. So of course this is just a sampling of what I have purchased. I have 2 dyers that I've bought from previously that I want to highlight with you. And then I have 3 brand new dyers that I have never purchased from before. Now, if you have a particular hand dyer in mind from Nova Scotia that I haven't bought from, please leave a comment below because I would love to investigate more hand-dyed yarn. We are obviously not really going there. We are just jumping in the imaginary yarn car and heading over there. Now, a couple of you are going to have to sit in the back seat. You can't all sit shotgun, but if you are in the back seat, keep your hands to yourself, don't fight with each other, and don't worry, we'll stop for a potty break real soon. So are you ready? Let's get into the car and go to Nova Scotia, Canada. Nova Scotia, one of the most beautiful maritime provinces that we have. There is Peggy's Cove. There is the beautiful scenic drive through Cabot Trail. And my fondest memory is going to Shetty Camp, where we bought fresh snow crab right off the dock from the fishermen and ate it that night. You can never go back to Red Lobster after you've eaten fresh seafood in Nova Scotia. I have 2 hand dyers that I have previously bought that may have been shown on my channel before, and then I have 3 brand new hand dyers to me that I purchased from Nova Scotia. The first one I want to recap with you is Botanical Fibres. I believe they're based out of Halifax, and her name is Emma. Now, Botanical Fibres is known for all of their naturally hand-dyed yarn. I had gotten this in a Darn Yarn mystery bag that I received earlier this year. And unfortunately, I don't know if you've heard recently, but Darn Yarn has had to close their doors. They were out of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, which is a real shame. I wish Alan and Kelly nothing but the best. So Botanical Fibres, this is a beautiful, beautiful color called Slate, as it is natural dyes. This is Australian superwash merino of 80% and 20% nylon. It is 429 meters in 113 grams. And it says each hand-dyed skein is unique. Beautiful, beautiful, almost like a clay gray in my opinion. but I just love it. This is their Northern Collection sock yarn. And another hand dyer that I had previously bought, in fact, I bought this through Darn Yarn. I believe this company is no longer in business. I did find their Facebook page and I linked it below, but there is no website for them. In fact, they were originally in Shelburne, Nova Scotia, and have since moved to Saskatchewan. And they are Celtic Raven Fibres. This is very, very bright yarn for me. I am usually a much more muted person when I get attracted to colors, but this is going to make a fantastic pair of socks because I am wearing color on my feet. Now this is called, the color is called Snow Dyed. It is superwash sock yarn, 80% merino, 20% nylon, 391 meters, 115 grams. And I think it'll make a pretty pattern. So when I looked at the photo, it was a lot more muted than when it arrived, but that's okay. I think socks will be in my future with this one. And it came with a very cute matching stitch marker. So 3 hand dyers that are new to me. The first one is, I think it's a very well-known brand in Canada, Fleece Artist. Now, Fleece Artist also has a sister company called Maiden Fibres. They are both out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, and there is a website that I've linked below. Now, I found it a little more of a reference website than an ordering website. There is ways to order it. I think the ordering on this website is more for shops that want to carry their product. But if you go into a lot of online Canadian yarn stores, you will be able to find this brand. And again, this was one that I found from Darn Yarn. Darn Yarn was an amazing source to find East Coast yarn when I was looking for yarn earlier this year. I had purchased some organic cottage sock yarn. And honestly, you guys, when I thought of the word organic, I thought it was going to be much more rustic and much more scratchy or not very soft to the feel. And I was completely wrong. Now, this is, again, more of my colorway that I have bought. And when I pulled this yarn, I found it's actually going to look really good with the Botanical yarn. This is the color. Very, very muted, but incredibly soft. 80% organic merino, 20% nylon. It is 349 meters, 115 grams, and it is machine washable. And when I saw this today, I thought, okay, these colors go really, really nicely together. Would maybe make a really nice muted tee or something that I could eventually make for myself, a muted short-sleeved shirt. I've got a lot of 2 hank fingering weight yarn, and I'm still kind of been on the lookout for a nice little garment that I can possibly wear that I can make for myself. And when I find that garment, I tell you, I'm going to be going to town and just making tees in all kinds of colors of the yarn that I have bought. Another company from Halifax that I have purchased from, which is completely new to me. I have admired their yarn online for some time. They have a direct website, which has been linked below. All of the dyers that I have mentioned today are linked below with their information. And the first thing that attracted me to this dyer was their name. And the name was Nerd with Needles. I believe her name is Teresa, And I was very attracted to this color. It is called Asteroid, and it is a beautiful, beautiful blue and gray combo. I have a lot of gray in my hand-dyed collection, so I felt very confident that I could pair this with a gray to make some sort of a beautiful top. The yoke could be in this color. I don't have a lot of blue, actually. I'm quite surprised, but I do not. Now, this is their Nerdy Sock yarn. It is a fingering weight, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It is 370 yards and 100 grams. Isn't that gorgeous? Just love it. It'd be so nice with a, pair it with a charcoal gray and with a pair of jeans. Nerds with needles. And my final hand dyer is from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. In fact, she has a YouTube channel. Her name is Kelly, and it is her channel and hand-dyed yarn is Loch Briar Knits. I've been watching her channel for some time. She's just got a beautiful disposition about her. She has a wonderful smile with dimples, and she has a really, really cute dog. And a lot of the projects that I find that Kelly makes, I'm really drawn to. In fact, I have written down a lot of them. Just to add to that to-do list that keeps adding on, I purchased one hank of her hand-dyed yarn. She has an Etsy shop, and it is a merino cashmere nylon blend. It is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon, 435 yards, and the colorway is Hope Springs. Isn't that just gorgeous? I'm looking at this, and because there's cashmere in it, I'm like, do I make socks with this? Is cashmere too fancy for socks? This is, I don't want to say out of my norm for color, but the jewel tones on this are really, really getting to me. Like they just meld so beautifully together. I am usually not a purple person at all, but these colors together are just fantastic. So I only have the one hank of it. She does not have any more of this particular color on her website. I'm kind of looking at her birch color as well. It's quite something. But I would recommend checking out her podcast and checking out her Etsy shop. I don't know, maybe this needs to be a cowl or something that I can put around my neck and, a little bit of color around my face, but it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. A lot of these variegated colors, I feel like because I'm still fairly new to knitting with hand-dyed yarn, that I should always just make a little swatch to see how the color portrays itself. But I only have one of this, 435 yards, so I'm going to have to see what I can come up with. "2024 has been my year of buying hand-dyed yarn. 2025 is going to be my year of knitting with it. In fact, this weekend coming up is the Manitoba Fibre Festival. And perhaps I'll throw this in my bag and kind of bring it along with me to see if I can find a color, like a solid color that I can pull out of this, that I can combine with this to maybe make a short sleeve top. I keep banking on that I can make a short sleeve top with 2 hanks of fingering weight yarn, and I think I can. Again, if anyone has any great simple tee ideas for fingering weight yarn, please link them below. Give me a comment. I would love to hear from any and all of you, especially if you're new to me watching. But yeah, I think I'm going to bring this along. So next week, Manitoba Fibre Festival. I am very, very excited. There are going to be some hand dyers there that I haven't had the chance to purchase from, and they're from outside of Manitoba, which is even more exciting to me. For example, Mid-Knit Cravings is going to be there. They are from Saskatchewan. I had them on my radar. They have this beautiful colorway called, I think it's called City of Bridges. I will correct myself and show you what it looks like, the 3-pack. This is just stunning, just stunning. I'm like, Tofino Knits is going to be there from British Columbia. I am not very familiar with them. Cog Yarns, I bought one thing from them, but I'm very excited. They're from Saskatchewan, I believe in Regina. So Cog Yarns is going to be there, and I'm very excited to be able to see a lot of the yarn in person, because I've been really just purchasing a lot of yarn online. So it's a big difference to be able to see and touch and squish the yarn and see the colors in real life. Another company that I did buy something from, but I haven't received it yet because it is an advent, is Ginger Snap That. I am very excited to see them. They're coming from Alberta, and I had bought their Gnome Advent calendar. Plus, we have a whole bunch of fantastic Manitoba dyers that are going to be there. One of my faves, Smash Knits, is going to be there. Fireweed, Cloud9, Fiberworks. There are so many. There are so many. Smiling Sheep from Edmonton is going to be there. I cannot wait. It is a girlfriend party. I'm hoping Alice is going to be able to join us, but my friend Milen and I are going, and we'll see who we meet when we're there. If you are in the area in Manitoba and you happen to spot me out in the real world, please come up and say hello to me. I would love to meet you. Not that anyone's going to recognize me, but you never know. So thank you, my friends, so much for joining me today. If you have any other suggestions of Nova Scotian hand dyers, please link them below. Of course, I only scratched the surface. It's impossible to buy from everyone, but I'm very pleased with the yarn that I have received. So until next time, my friends, take care and bye for now.